Tonight at the table, we're joined by someone whose name carries weight. Not just because of what he's accomplished, but because of how he has led. A coach, a leader, and a man who brought passion, discipline, and heart into every room he ever walked into. I am really looking forward to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Coach Dick Vermeil.
Yeah.
Coach Vermeil.
Hello there.
Hello, it is an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for joining me. So just to get started, if you were to meet someone tonight and introduce yourself, how would you do that?
I usually start with Coach
Yeah.
Vermeil.
Yeah.
The name that I'm nicknamed, my real name's Richard, but no one calls their son Dick anymore.
Right. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how your career started?
Well, I grew up in the Napa Valley.
Uh-huh.
I was born and raised. I was born in my great-grandfather's home in Calistoga.
Okay.
At the time I was born, there was only like 1,800 people in town. And there were a lot of prunes, probably more prunes than vineyards at that time, and some walnuts. And then gradually the prunes were pulled out, and the grapevines and the vineyards just overtook the place.
Right.
And that's what it is today. So, my dad had an old garage right behind the house. It was his grandfather, my great-grandfather, on the Italian side of my family's barn. And my dad loved it so much, he turned it into a garage and worked there until he died, really. And, went to high school there, 130 kids in my school, 29 in my graduating class. It was a great way to grow up.
Yeah.
Because you had almost no limitations.
Right.
You could make your own mistakes. And the entire town, everybody knew everybody. So everybody's dad was like my dad or my uncle.
Yeah.
Because, anyone was free to discipline you when you were out of line. So you really couldn't get away with anything, but you were free to do whatever you wanted to do.
Right.
It was great.
That's great. First of all, I didn't know you were Italian.
Yeah, I'm French Italian. My mother's English. My dad's French and Italian.
Fantastic. A fellow paisan.
Yeah.
Sitting at the table with
Yeah,
me.
the all do I carry. He was extremely successful.
Oh, awesome. And so you're raised out there in California.
Mm-hmm.
So what was in your blood actually was the wine business something you were always in the back of your mind, something you wanted to get into?
Well, first off, my great-grandfather was involved in a vineyard out there. And then his son-in-law, later Al Vermeil, marries into the family, marrying his daughter. And he was a winemaker.
Yeah.
And did it as a hobby. And they would pick the grapes and make wine. And my brother and I, my brother who now passed was 11 months younger, we would get involved in helping the process in the old-fashioned way. You actually get inside and the big barrel, the knives, and crush the grapes, and all that, and haul the grapes and pick the grapes and all those kind of things. So it was always an interest. And the wine part of our meal was always very important.
Right.
It was never really discussed as a cocktail. It was always part of the meal. And it was discussed if you cooked a prime rib, about the prime rib, well, we're drinking a Cabernet. When they talk about the Cabernet, we're drinking this, And I don't remember a lot of the details of their conversations, but I remembered how important it was to the family.
Yeah.
And it always impressed me.
Right.
It sort of implanted a vision of how you ought to respect a bottle of wine.
Right.
And fortunately for me, I knew everybody there, and I get older and I go on and doing what I'm doing, and I get involved in bottling our own wine with a friend. I had no money involved. First year we bottled them was 150 cases. And we did that for a number of years, and my friends with real money came in and said, hey, they're New Jersey guys and Florida guys, let's turn it into a business. So in 2008, it became an official Vermeil wine business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I should be congratulated. Haven't won many games, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, my dad grew up a big wine guy.
I know, big time. And he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, we drove out to Minnesota for that.
Great experience.
Well, what was the first thing that we did after the win?
Opened a bottle of wine.
We opened a bottle of Vermeil wine.
Oh, did you? Well, he has some, I know he has some, he's in our wine club.
I swear that's what we did. He's like, just for this.
I like him better already.
So growing up, were you always a huge sports nut, even when you were a little guy?
Well, my dad played high school football.
Uh-huh.
And he loved the game.
Uh-huh.
And then he gets into the Napa Valley and he forms his own football team. And they traveled around with, the banker in the town, the chief of police, all these, they had formed their own football team. And they would travel around and play football on weekends during the season against other cities. And I think there were a lot of areas in the country that did that in the old days. But football was always important. And he always said to me, you could learn the principles of how to live properly in your life through playing the game of football.
Right.
He really, you do your job, you respect your teammate, and don't let anybody down, and work hard. All these concepts, and he kept pumping those into my brother and I, and my youngest brother as well. And so football was always very, very important.
Yeah.
Very important. And I hadn't planned to go to college, so when senior year in high school, a young first-time ever head coach comes to Calistoga, his first job out of College of Pacific. Now it's University Pacific, and we had a good season. And he said, young man, you could play college football if you wanted to. Well, I wasn't even planning to go to college. Okay, I was going to stay home and become Louis Vermeil and Sons Garage. Okay, and that excited me, and I hadn't prepared to go to college, so I went to junior college. Played there a couple of years, and then walked on to San Jose State, earned a scholarship, and ended up playing some my senior year. And then my coach there liked me, treated me with great respect, and motivated me to keep thinking serious about the game.
Yeah.
So I got an assistant coaching job my first year out in 1959. The next year I was a head coach in high school.
What?
So and then every time someone offered me a job with more responsibility in football, I took it.
Yeah.
All the way up to Philadelphia Eagles, St. Louis Rams, and the Chiefs.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an ascension.
Yeah, it was. I always felt I had an advantage in that I learned to work with kids from 14 to 15 to 36 and 37.
Yeah.
And I really learned a lot about it. Gained a lot of insight into people and what turns them on, what turns them off.
Yeah.
How to communicate.
It's funny you say that about, the lessons that the sport will teach you. I always think about that. I developed such a brotherhood with the guys that I played with.
Oh, yeah.
I go to war for those guys.
Yeah.
And it's something inside of you that it's something different.
Well, there's very few things left in our society that is as intense and as tough on you as, say, football.
Yeah.
Rugby, soccer, lacrosse, they're all great games. They're all good. With football, there's the physical side of it. You knock down, you get up, you got to go, your nose is bleeding, you line up and play anyway, and everyone else around you is doing the same thing. And the adversity, the toughness of the game pulls you closer together.
Yeah.
And you hang on to all of those things. I'll give you a great example of that. The team I coached at Hillsdale High School in 1961 was champion, okay? When I went into the NFL Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2002, 6 of the starting lineup were there. Now they weren't kids anymore.
Yeah.
I still think of them as kids. Yeah. And they all were extremely successful.
Yeah.
Kids after that went on to college, Stanford, and all over the place.
Yeah.
But they were there because they felt so much part of the entire career that I experienced.
The journey.
Yeah. They were part of it.
Yeah, you made a huge impact on them.
Well, they made a huge impact on me. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that ties into something I wanted to talk about, especially in football. It's high intensity. It does require passion. When people think about you, they think about passion. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from?
Well, I think we're all different individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really like the game and want to be a good player at it, very few people end up in the NFL. Yeah. A low percentage end up major universities playing. Yeah. But if you really like the game, you have to handle the intensity. Right. And the preparation to play. You practice all week and then play 60 minutes. Right. So there's a lot of preparation going in it. And some people just like that intense atmosphere. Right. It motivates. People always say to me, hey, Coach, you're a real good motivator. I said, no, I was a better evaluator. I look for kids that love to play. They didn't need me. They're going to play. Right. Because it's in them. That's just that's in their profile. And They knew that hard work wasn't a form of punishment. It was a solution to whatever they wanted to do in life, from football to education to whatever it is. And
Right.
now, motivation, you have to be motivated, no question. But the game requires you to be, just to go practice.
Right.
You know, and it tests you every day.
Yeah, I mean, and you've coached some of the toughest guys in the world.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. The amount of work you got to put in.
Yeah.
You know, what will separate someone who would achieve a level of greatness, the amount of work that they would have to put in?
Well, number one, innate God-given talent, born with it. It was in his DNA.
Yeah.
You can't make a Hall of Famer out of someone that doesn't have Hall of Fame talent.
Right.
You can improve a very good player, make him better, maybe make him all pro, but you aren't going to put him in the Hall of Fame unless he has that innate gift.
Right.
The physical gift and the fortitude and all these other things. There are people that probably, I know, I've had them, that had Hall of Fame potential, but didn't have the depths within their character to push them all the way to the point where that's where they're destined.
Right.
And there are guys that you can coach today, like Brandon Graham.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
in Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
You know, he may not end up in the Hall of Fame, but his path has always been in that direction because of his passion, his commitment, and just the every snap intensity.
Right. So, you know, you have these big, talented players, these God-given abilities. You've been on the highest stage. You know, I think about, I can't imagine what it is like to play and coach in a Super Bowl. I just can't fathom that. I have traveled and, you know, I've watched the birds, but to be down there and doing that is, I cannot fathom it.
Yeah.
How do you, in a crazy, surreal time like that, chaos, biggest moment like that, how do you reel in players and get them to just lock in?
Well, you know, the immense size of that game
Yeah.
creates its own environment in terms of players' focus, because they all now, this is it. This is the last game of the year.
Right.
And there's only going to be one world champion. And their focus is unbelievable. Now, the last time I went, we were at a disadvantage and there was no bye. So we played the NFC Championship game on Sunday in St. Louis. Monday we were on our plane flying to Atlanta and played the next game was Super Bowl.
Right.
All the time there's a bye.
Right.
It gives you time to take a breath, gradual preparation, and work toward the peak in 2 weeks. The last time I went, we only had 1 week to do it, and it was tough.
Why was that? What happened
Just
that time?
because of how the league did it, other factors within the league and the calendar and all that kind of stuff, how it all worked.
Yeah.
They haven't done it since, and I don't remember them ever doing it before.
Yeah.
Maybe in the old days. But the magnitude of the game has become so big. I'm wearing a Super Bowl 15 ring. Okay?
Yes.
Since that game to the game today, the media, the coverage, the money, the audience is probably 5 times. You know what? 130 million people watch a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're one of those guys on the field, and you know that's the kind of audience you have. You focus all week. It just grinds in. And,
Right.
a lot of times it draws the best out of the best.
Right.
Every once in a while there's somebody that can't handle it.
Yeah.
Can't quite get there, and they don't perform at the level they had been performing to get there.
Yeah.
There are guys that get in there and play a little better than they ever played. You know, so, but as a coach, fortunately for me, I'd coached the high school championship games. I've coached junior college championship games. I've coached college championship games, and then 2 in the NFL. You had experience. And in coaching, sometimes there are games you play in the regular season, you feel like it's your Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember in 1979, the Pittsburgh Steelers came to Philadelphia here, like 4th game of the season, world champions from the year before, undefeated, and preparing to play the world champions. that were still undefeated, it was like getting ready for a Super Bowl
Yeah.
at that time. Now, if you're Bill Belichick and you've gotten ready for many of them, maybe any one game during the season doesn't feel like a Super Bowl. But and we won the game. And to me, people ask me many times, what was one of the 2 or 3 finest games you were ever involved in? I always talk about that game because we beat the best at the best. And we were just getting to that level.
Yeah.
And now you find out you can do it. And it's amazing how it changes the whole framework of how your organization thinks, how you operate. All of a sudden, there's a deeper level of respect and confidence in yourself. You can feel it.
Right.
You can really feel it.
So a win like that, could that
Propels. It propels.
Yeah.
It
I was
propels.
going to ask. It can change the course of a season. That's a
Oh.
real thing.
No question.
Hey.
Yeah.
We got
Will.
a chocolate chip pancake.
Thanks, buddy.
I brought you a packet of crackers.
Thank you.
You guys enjoy.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the world has changed so dramatically. You have social media. You have all of these other.
Yeah. See, initially there weren't any problems with
Yeah.
social media. Now it's an issue for coaches to maintaining focus.
Yeah.
You know, you have to put no cell phones in the locker room, no cell phones in the meeting rooms, and that gradually occurred because originally coaches weren't used to players coming in the meeting with a cell phone in their pocket.
Right.
All of a sudden, and then they also put $1,000 fine for a cell phone in your
Yeah.
pocket. And all that, it grew, but now everyone's aware of what social media is about, what cell phones are all about, and they're not in meeting rooms anymore. And you don't have to worry about finding anybody because that's the environment. That's the atmosphere today.
Yeah.
We've grown and we've learned, but no, it's meeting rooms are like walking into an operating room. I mean, there's a lot of serious stuff going on there in the player's mind.
Yeah. How would you handle that? Like, that makes people's personalities different. I almost wonder if it changes people's motivations. I know what it's done to society at large and individual players.
Yeah, I think it's a problem in true leadership positions because it can be a distraction.
Yeah.
And there are no secrets.
Right.
There are no secrets or no things said in confidence that may be released and exposed to millions of people, and opinions are formed and all this kind of. I mean, I hear it every day. I hear it, because I'm on WIP and NFL Network channel, Sirius Radio, and I listen to that stuff a lot. And it's amazing how much stuff. Well, there's just rumor. There must.
Right.
From the old-fashioned meeting room after a game in the NFL, like I left coaching in '82, came back in '97. The number of people in a press conference after a game, it startles you.
Yeah.
Instead of 20, 25 guys and 3 cameras, now you'd think you were getting ready for the Third World War. It's amazing how many people are covering the game and evaluating the game, have opinions on the game and all that kind of stuff. And the social media just generates and generates. It's probably helped increase the audience.
Yeah.
Because, with this fantasy football, I'm sure that's made a contribution. Now flag football will make a contribution, creating more and more interest in the game. It's way beyond the expectations. When I came in back into the league in '97, I think the salary cap was $58 million. Now it's what, $303 million?
Right.
A year you have to spend on your players.
Right. Fantasy football might as well have its own channel now.
I know. Well, they have their own Sirius Radio shows. Yeah.
They are serious about fantasy football.
I know it.
We're pretty serious about it too. Our
now
league,
gambling. Now gambling.
Yeah.
That word was never mentioned when I was coaching.
Yeah.
Never mentioned.
What do you think about that?
I worry about it.
It's tied to every sports league now.
Yeah, I know. It's too enticing.
Yeah.
For someone that isn't meeting the standards financially that he thinks he ought to and makes a little mistake, and it's over. Because it's just, I worry about it. I do.
Yeah.
I remember how important it was in building the league to the status it is today to make sure there was no game. That's almost the first meeting at every training camp. There was an NFL official from New York in your meeting with your whole squad talking about the influences of gambling You're out of here. You can't be here. You can't do this. Suspects, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And now they're advertising.
Yeah.
Betting on games during the game.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's part
So,
of it.
And there already have been some issues.
Yeah.
There have been some issues.
It went from being a thing that was
Never discussed.
number one, don't do
No,
it, to
number
now
one, no.
they're in partnership.
Well, the players are spelling number one, no.
Right.
But not everybody is as deep in character and values to say, I would never do it.
Yeah.
It can be, well, they've gotten guys already. They were influenced. They make a
Yeah.
mistake.
How could there be such a drastic change like that?
Money.
Yeah, they were just like, we need more. I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about how many people are at a press conference now, and it got me thinking, like, I can't imagine back when you were coaching that there would be so many dramatic storylines.
Oh, yeah.
Like now, everything, what a person tweets
Yeah.
is a storyline. If they unfollow somebody, it's a
Yeah.
storyline. They pull in every thread.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are no secrets.
Right.
Yeah. And now there are people that release information but don't use their name.
Right.
You know, it just goes out there, and then you don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I think, well, I know that's not true, but it may be.
Right. Yeah, you never know.
Doesn't have to be true.
Yeah. Well, we also touched on that Steelers victory that you had, and that was such a high.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have, just as a fan, some games that ring a bell like that for me, for sure.
Yeah.
But in maybe a season where it's not going the way that,
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of them.
yeah, how do you maintain, I don't want to say control, but make sure people don't start losing it in a way that they...
Well, yeah. Again, having started in high school coaching and working my way up, I learned, I think, a lot about working with people in good times and bad times.
Right.
I think I gradually learned how to use adversity as an ally.
Uh-huh.
Welcome it.
Right.
Challenge it.
Right.
Use it as a tool to get better.
Right.
And you correct and discipline the problem, and you don't blame the person.
Okay.
You change his technique, or you correct his mistake, but you don't attack him personally.
Yeah.
Because self-confidence is critical. Very few people perform better than their own level of self-confidence.
Right.
Very few people.
Yeah.
And that's different than that self-esteem thing, is because self-esteem is an overall frame of mind for a person. Confident, you can be a confident driver and really feel confidence in driving your car and not feel very confident hitting a golf ball.
Yeah.
But when you have deep self-esteem, it affects everything you do.
Right. And that's true in everything.
Yeah.
You know, even me coaching up a staff here, making sure nobody's losing it on a busy Sunday or something.
Yeah. Well,
Just funny how those things translate.
Yeah. Well, my first pro coaching job, I was with George Allen, 1969. And he said to me one time, you know, the only coach in the NFL without problems has already died. He says, you learn to use all the problems you have as tools to get better.
Yeah.
And you attack the problem, not the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about being a teacher or something like that?
A coach is a teacher.
Yeah.
My first year out in high school, I taught freshman English and orientation.
Right.
Yeah, and I was assistant track coach and head track coach and assistant football coach my first year out in 1959.
Yeah.
But to coach, you've got to teach.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to connect.
Yeah.
You connect with people, and you got to be grateful for the people you have.
Right.
Treat them with respect, but demand the hell of a lot out of them.
Yeah.
And some kids, I watched a lot of kids in high school grow up on the football field.
Right.
I mean, just their junior year, they were timid in the classroom, on the street, at the drive-in, because their own belief in themselves, they were timid.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they start learning how to handle pressure, handle contact, handle toughness, having eschewings, and all that. And all of a sudden, by the time they're seniors, they're different kids. They just grow up.
Yeah.
You know, and again, we're going back to the intensity of the game. helps them that way.
Right.
Very few kids fall apart. Now, there are kids that don't like it, they get out of it. But kids, very few kids break down emotionally. And they usually grow
Right.
from the adversity, if it's handled properly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess just when we're having this conversation, I'm asking these questions. It's really hitting me how much you as a coach impact people's lives, not just
Oh, yeah.
their performance in a game, but their growth as men. That's why I said this teacher thing. That is,
Some of the Bill Parsons, everybody that's in a leadership position as a head coach in the NFL is a different person.
yeah,
And everyone has his own style. But you got to be who you are.
right,
And I've had many guys getting their head coaching job for the first time and say, Coach, what's the advice you give me? And I said, just be who you are. You can't be the same person you were working for. You got to be who you are, because players recognize phonies, or not phonies, but people trying to be someone else.
right,
I think people leaving Bill Belichick had that problem. They tried to be Bill, they're not Bill.
right.
They've got to be who they are.
Play into their strengths.
Yeah.
So would you say that is one of the most important things that you try to instill into players?
Yeah. Be who you are, and then try to be better. Every day you come to work, try to be better than you were yesterday. Yeah.
So you've obviously made an impact, as I was saying, but when your players that have played under you, when they talk about you, when they think about you, what do you hope comes to mind?
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest impact that you could have had on them?
Well, first off, to be successful, they got to know you care. And if they really know you care, they will equally care.
Right.
And especially, I talked to my tight end from the Eagles for 6 years today, Keith Krefley, okay? And it was like he just came off the field yesterday. You develop these relationships because you care. And we always use the motto, especially as I matured and learned, that players don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. See? And then you surround them with people that are good examples. You build an atmosphere in which they enjoy coming into work every day, even though they're not going to work their ass off. You give them a great plan, define it, teach them that hard work is not a form of punishment, build relationships, and never bullshit them.
Right.
Never bullshit them.
Right.
A lie goes around a locker room in about 3 minutes, okay, or less. Yeah. Don't bullshit the troops.
It always comes back to this authenticity thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
The only way you can develop trust is be authentic, be who you are.
Yeah. That saying you said is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I say it a lot. I got it from one of my dad's friends in our Bible study. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
You know who said that originally?
Who's that?
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, that would explain why it stuck.
Yeah. A long time ago. I read that.
Yeah.
That's where I first got it.
Oh, wow.
And I took that word out, people, and I put players.
Right.
Players don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Coach, do you have anything exciting coming up on the horizon?
One of my former players is the head coach of the United Football League team in St. Louis, the Battle Hawks. And they play in the arena there. They draw more than anybody else in that league right now. And they play. I talked to him the other day. I'm going to go to one of their games. You just go to practice once and go to the meetings and be with him. To me, that turns me on. Marshall Falk now is coaching Southern University, and so it's fun to see some of my former players coaching. And I stay in touch with my guys. Yeah, I called Jaworski today. I talk with him probably once a week or try to, because those guys motivate me. They stimulate me. Because I can remember what they were as a player, and I know them as a person. And the relationship gets deeper even off the field.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the next generation of coaches.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Coach, it's been an honor.
Well, thank you.
I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
And I can't say thank you enough for joining me at the table.
All right. Hey, my pleasure. I love coming here for breakfast.
I'll see you for breakfast.
All right. Thank you.